Hey guys, welcome back to my virtual dog training playlist. And we are now on episode 10. Now, this session was pretty unique because it's actually a follow up for a dog that I had a virtual training session with when the puppy was with her foster. Now, the puppy got adopted and is in her forever home. So this is unique because, again, I had a session when the dog was just in foster care. Now the dog has been adopted and we're having a follow-up in the new home to go over some things, some challenges, some behaviors, some little quirks that the new owners are experiencing. And some of the topics that we're covering today are... So sit back, relax, enjoy this video consult, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to stay up to date on all my content. Dog training, dog care, dog health, dog nutrition, dog rescue, dog whatever.
Okay, so you have Sydney, right?
I do, yes.
Okay, cool. How's she doing overall?
She's getting a B plus.
A B plus, okay, that's not too bad for a puppy.
The problem to the A plus is a major problem.
Yeah. All right, so tell me what's going on with her.
Somewhere between 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock at night, she goes through witching hour, which is a lot of heavy nipping, continuous, sometimes for up to 20 minutes to 40 minutes. It's getting a little physical while I'm holding her down to protect my 7-year-old and myself and my wife. Not because I'm fearful that she's going to bite, but because I know they have the control. They want to bite, they'll bite. I don't want to put my kid in a bad spot. She's getting scared and she wants to love the dog. Outside of that, it's normal puppy annoyances. I think part of the problem is she's a bigger puppy than what my daughter and people usually think of puppies, where you can handle them a little bit better.
Yeah.
So when I'm holding her down, and I don't try not to get to that point, so I'm doing different things. But her legs are so fucking long that they push, so it's like a cattle. I'm trying to wrap it around his legs. And I've had beagles before. I've rescued from the Beagle Freedom Project, laboratory beagles. We've had bull mastiffs, Rottweilers. Doesn't mean I know everything by any stretch, but that's a big challenge. And I took video to the point of where we've had her for a week and a half. I was ready to bring her back, but I went to a canine trainer. I went there for 2 hours with her. Got some good tips. I'm going to send her there with me 2 or 3 days per week for a couple of weeks. Because that's really a big issue. And there's triggers, and I'll answer all the questions. I'm just giving you like a mouthful of stuff.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
fine. No, totally cool.
If you're married or have been married, you'll know that. Okay.
20 years.
Okay. Yeah. You didn't have the smile of the man on the other side of the grass. You got the chip in your brain. Anyway. So I didn't go crate initially. The first 2 nights, what I did was I had the doggy bed next to me on the floor, and it was just down, down, down. Night number 3, my wife and my daughter, I thought they could maybe give it a shot. They fell asleep in 4 minutes, and the dog was in the bed for the next 2 nights. So now, for the past 5 nights, I've done crate with her.
Good.
Hasn't been too bad. She's got nothing on beagles. It's old man sounds, like the yawning, like stress type thing. But it lasts about 15 minutes. Then it pops up again at around 2 a.m. for like 10 minutes. It's a pain in the ass, but it's nothing like I've had with beagles.
Right.
But that's kind of the mouthful of it. I do have video of it. It's what you think it is. I think some of the triggers happens is that slippers in the living room. She starts to grab something, then she gets mouthy. She starts going along the side of the sofa, like mouthing the top. Like, she's teething badly. I don't have any toys except two heavy chew toys that I could put in her mouth as I take one out. Problem is, she's mouthy everywhere. And my daughter freaks out. So that's really my concern. I don't want a bad experience for her, and I want to keep the dog. So now, there was only one time I put her in the crate, and it was because it was like 20 minutes, and I was fucking exhausted. So I put her in just for the safety of it. Yesterday was better, but it was just me. I think just the overall movement of my daughter, overall movement of everybody talking, escalates it to her thinking it's playtime because my wife and my daughter's voices are high-pitched. And I'm not saying that these are the answers. I'm just like going through the stuff with
That's
her.
fine. Yeah, sure.
But so that's where I'm at. And that's where I'm at.
Okay, good. That's perfect. So it's good that you own a training. You know, I mean, if anything, that's going to stimulate her a few times a week, which is good. So you know, that's not a bad thing. Okay.
Okay.
So I just jotted down some notes. I might jump around a little bit, but whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know, she had some crate issues in the previous foster home as far as vocalization goes.
Yeah.
So that seemed to work itself out to a degree. So when you're telling me 15 minutes is kind of like her peak time frame where she'll go for 15 minutes in the crate.
It's gone longer, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I know that the previous owners had a townhouse, so it was probably like 5 minutes was like too much.
Right. Yeah. So it was going longer, but early on they were letting her out when she was vocal. So that's kind of what you're up against there. But the good news is that it's bearable for you, and you understand that you let her whine it out, it's going to get shorter and shorter and shorter.
I bring her out only when she's quiet. I would,
Perfect.
you know, the handle. I have her wait. I'm doing feeding. I'm only doing it by hands, and I'm doing this through training. I'm doing the crate, and this is from the. I can let you know it's Camp K9 in Middletown, New Jersey. He's a little bit old school, hardcore. He's like a jiu-jitsu guy, but
it's fine.
I'm also not like, you know, carrying my dog in a purse. So like I'm not at that end either.
Yeah. I'm somewhere in the middle myself. So
okay, yeah. I lean more towards the non-purse, but anyway. So me and my wife have been feeding her by hand, and he suggested of the 3 feedings, one time to do it in the crate. I've always heard not to do that, but we've done it for 3 days. I'm not opposed to not doing it all and just keep hand feeding her for a week or 2. What do you think?
Well, I mean, the hand feeding is fine. That's just a general recourse for puppy rearing in general. She should have, in my opinion, she should absolutely eat at least 1 meal in the crate.
Okay, cool.
That's really the purpose of crate training, right? They don't pee and poop where they eat and sleep. It also creates more of a positive association with the crate because she's eating in there, right?
Okay.
And you know, in a minute we're going to talk about you need to use the crate more. So that's going to lend itself to more positive association with the crate because although we may put her in the crate because she's driving us friggin' crazy, our whole approach is it still needs to be positive when she goes in there, right? So even though she may as well talk about it now, even though she's on our last nerve, right? It's, you know, you want to knock her in the ass. Deep breath. Come on, baby. Let's go, girl. Come on. Toss a treat in there. Put her in the crate. All positive. So even if you have to give her, and I hate using this phrase because I don't believe in it for children either, time out. It's really a management tool to manage her 4 to 8 witching hour, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's witching hour or zoomies, some dogs just start sprinting around the house for no apparent reason. Other dogs get real mouthy. So the good news is it's not unique to you or Sydney. So it's, you know, it's not necessarily an environmental issue or a breed issue. A lot of puppies go through this. The problem is, like you said, when you have an older puppy who's still very mouthy, you know, it hurts, right? And for you, it's not a big deal. You'll manage it. If it was just you, it's not a big deal. But, you know, your wife and then clearly your daughter is a safety concern, you know? So, but yeah, so utilize the crate a little more.
We have tried it. We've done it 2 or 3 times during the day for like 15 minutes. But we only started, we started that 2 days ago. Last night, see, I've been sleeping downstairs on the sofa bed with her in the crate just to reduce the sound. but my wife and my daughter stayed at my mother-in-law's last night. So I brought the crate into the bedroom, and that was the same situation. 15 minutes, she was fine. Right now, I have the crate blocking the entrance into the bedroom with the door open, and I throw a cookie in there. I let her go in. She finds it on her own, gets it. She comes out. I'll throw another one in there later. I don't say anything.
Good.
I don't say anything when she comes out of the crate. There's no joy or anything. It's just open it up. She's really patient. Like, I'm literally holding it in my hand, putting it on the floor, and she is 5 feet away, and she is staying for 3-5 seconds, which is great.
Yeah.
It's just the mouthing is because of her size, and not that she's big, she's just lanky. You saw, I think, the video with Cindy and Steve, right? You saw her. She's pretty lanky.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's tough for me to wrangle her like a cattle.
Right.
And I don't even want to do that because after 20 minutes, I'm like, all right, I'm enough. That's it. I'm going in the crate.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, so utilizing and I don't, you clearly are okay with using the crate, which is good, and it's great that you're tossing treats in there randomly. So it's just that's the whole purpose. The whole purpose of the crate is just make it part of her life as matter of fact as possible.
Yeah.
Going in is positive. Coming out is just a non-event. It's just part of her routine. And the thing is, and I don't know where you're at with the whole virus and stuff, or where you live, if you're on lockdown, or do you work from home normally, or do you normally leave the house for work?
We're both me and my wife work from home because of the pandemic.
Okay.
I'm in the heart of New Jersey where it hit.
Okay.
Now we're looking at the rest of the country, not learning from us, but we stay on precaution. We're more precaution than.
So at some point, will you both be going back to work away from the house?
I learned that from watching a little bit of the video with you and Cindy.
Okay,
I'm training for her for preparation.
Perfect. Okay.
Yes. However, I work for myself, so
Okay.
we have a lot of flexibility. And my wife, she's probably not going back until any time before September. And plus, I think we're going to homeschool my daughter for 2nd grade.
Okay.
So we're going to be home, but nonetheless, I want to be able to.
Well, that's good. Yeah. So just plan. You saw the video, so I don't have to beat that dead horse.
I watched a little bit. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah. So plan for utilizing the crate when you're home, because that's one of the biggest mistakes people make is dogs get separation anxiety because people only use the crate when they leave. And again, like taking her out of the crate, like you said, you just take her out. Don't make a fuss, right? The crate's just part of her life, and you're just setting her up for the next 12 to 14 years of her life, really.
Yes.
Right. More importantly, with her witching hour. Okay. There's a couple of things. And honestly, I'm doing this a long time. I don't know what it is with 7 p.m., but that just seems like the friggin' time frame for puppies since the beginning of creation that they go apeshit.
So I joined the Coonhound group, and a lot of there was a hunting and a non-hunting one. And the hunting one said that a lot of the Coonhounds go through this because that's the time that they're used to going hunting.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm like that's every dog.
It's every breed I've ever worked with. I mean, it's insane. And granted, I know the whole hunting thing. I've done research on this too. Probably the same way you did. I don't do it anymore because it's every friggin' dog, every puppy, and even some rescues, like young adults, because they never experienced real domestic life, that they just get this burst of energy or whatever. So the good news is that it's not your environment, that's not her breed. But we need to focus more on when she gets in those moods. And this might be where you could kind of do a preemptive strike, so to speak, where maybe around 3:30, 4 o'clock, you start getting her into a little obedience session, and, get her working for you a little bit. Even if it's for a few minutes, sit down, come, stay, whatever she does. Do you have a fenced-in yard?
Yeah, yeah.
Does she like toys? I forget if she plays with toys or not.
No, she likes anything but toys. But the two things that I bought, she likes everything else but the toys.
Okay.
But I bought. If you want to hang on a minute, in a couple minutes, I can show you. There's no squeaker or anything. I could put it in her hand, in her mouth, and not worry about getting bit either way. They're just tough chews. I guess toys. We had a couple of stuffed things that people gave or whatever. I got rid of those.
Okay. And you said she likes slippers, so she likes stuff with
The
fabric.
rubber, like the girl disposable slippers that they buy, the flip flops. Sorry,
Oh,
they got.
flip flops. Gotcha. Okay.
But
Okay.
slippers too. They're not.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
acceptable.
What you could do is go to like Walmart, and they have these fleece blankets. They're like $2.50.
Yeah.
You can get one of those fleece. I use them for the crates too, but once they start getting Swiss cheese looking, from dogs chewing them, I actually cut them and I make tug toys out of the fleece.
Okay.
So I'll cut them, even if they're new, I'll cut them long and I'll put knots in them throughout the whole line of the fleece.
Yeah.
And that's a good tug toy. Obviously it's safe, but getting her in like a play training session where before you engage in tug, she's got to sit, and just get her working and playing. And then this is where you could try and do it, kind of anticipate when she's going to go into witching hour, or even if you could see she's starting to go.
Yeah.
And again, it's not that holding her down, you could do that for control, but if you don't do it right, it could actually backfire on you, and you can actually teach her persistence.
It is backfiring.
Okay. Yeah.
For her information. And for my dog.
Yeah, because the thing is, and again, that is kind of old school, pinning the dog down, which, she's a pretty happy-go-lucky girl, so it's not going to impact your relationship. But like, if you were going to do that, you have to be willing to hold her down for an hour, right? Because when you engage in something like that, that dog has to be completely calm, right? So if that doesn't happen and she pops right back up, that actually reinforced persistence on her part, and her drive is actually solidified and validated.
Does she see it as playtime as much as anything?
It depends on how you're doing it and what exactly the totality of the situation is. It's possible.
It's controlled chaos.
Yeah. It could actually validate and reward her intensity. I'm sure you've heard of people with, they knee their dog in the chest to try to correct jumping.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't really work, but on some dogs it might, but you could actually hurt the dog, which would be a physical correction. And the dog will stop jumping. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you do that to a boxer, a lab, or a pit bull, it's rewarding because they're like, woohoo, they're like, yes. Right. So again, that's why
we've had a boxer in the family, and
any physical interaction,
they don't built like Rocky,
they don't give a shit. They're like, all right, hit me again. That's where correcting one dog might be a reward for the same exact behavior for a completely different dog. So again, avoid that for now, at least until you start going into training.
Okay.
And remember, I know Sydney through a computer screen.
Yeah.
So I might be a little superficial in what I offer you, but you have a hands-on guy local, so he's going to give you a lot more insight than anybody else can, based on not just Sydney, but what she is capable of as far as dealing with stress in her life, and whatever training approach you guys implement.
So can I ask you a couple things that the trainer said, and also my wife looked into?
Sure.
The trainer said that, and this may sound harsh, but he said they haven't earned their freedom. There's no reason why. So I've closed off a good portion of the house. There's no run of whatever you want. Also, that goes for the backyard. There's no run of, you got to go wherever you want. She's on a leash. I'm walking her in the backyard for the most part. I let her out on her own when she's calm and she just wakes up and she's got to go. But I had mentioned to him that usually when we sit out on the deck for dinner, which could be between 4 and 6, she'll start zooming a little bit in the backyard. Then she'll grab something, and then it's, like I said, the controlled chaos. Either my wife tries to go down and discipline, but my wife does it from a distance, which I think is playtime to her, and then I try to do it from a distance, and my daughter so it just riles her all up. And she's jumping, leaping, air nips type of stuff. My wife is wearing one of those sundresses, so at the bottom. That's normal puppy shit. It's just because she's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And she's got a leaping ability. It gets scary, and then my daughter gets scared, and her voice goes up. So you could see how it just escalates and escalates. So I told the trainer that, and he said, put her in the crate while you guys have dinner. It's not the end of the world. You don't do it as a punishment. Just she goes in there while you guys go eat dinner outside. He also mentioned about, keeping her on a leash when you walk her in the backyard, letting her earn it a little bit. My wife had said that when she looked up a few times when it goes on, if it's going on in the house, to leave the room. And that sounds okay to me, but I get a little bit stubborn. And I'm like, well, I'm not leaving the room in my house. She's going to listen to me. And that's where we're at. So it's just a learning thing. But in the moment, I'm just trying to protect everybody.
Yeah. So remember earlier I said you got to utilize the crate more, right? You're totally underutilizing the crate as a management tool. Number one. Number two, you got to treat her like she's 8 weeks old. Right? All these things that you're talking about, would this be allowed if she was only 8 weeks old? The answer is no, because she'd be destroying shit or getting herself into trouble, safety or health-wise, right? And again, when we talk, anytime I say crate, we're talking about, like we talk, positive association, matter of fact, not punishment. Even though we're throwing her in there because she's driving us crazy, we still deep breath. Come on, girl, let's go. It's always positive going in, matter of fact coming out. And if she's not supervised, she should be crated. Period.
That's what he said as well. It's like,
and if
she only do damage to herself.
If you're eating dinner and she's in the back of the yard, she is unsupervised, right? And if she's in the yard doing whatever it is, and it elicits a reaction from you guys, and you guys try to go and address it, she initiated that interaction. She summoned you. She's dictating play. We want to start play. We want to end play. And if you think it's leaving the room, you could. That's fine, but then she's unsupervised. I'm more of the mindset of she's got to go in the crate. Now, anytime we're using the crate for management in those situations, we can't just put her in the crate. There has to be something happens between whatever she was doing that's driving you up a friggin' wall to going in the crate, and that's usually a quick little obedience session. So if she's going friggin' berserk and you're putting her in the crate, come on, girl, come here, go get a treat, sit, good girl, down, good girl, sit, good girl. Come on, let's go in the crate.
Snap her out of that moment and then bridge it into the crate.
It's the bridge. That's what it is, because we don't want the association with her going nuts and going in the crate, regardless of how we put her in the crate, because then that could cause some anxiety. So there's that bridge between driving me up a wall, getting the crate. There's got to be something in between there, okay? Eating dinner, you should put her in the crate before you eat dinner, right? So you can sit.
Now, is that because we're eating dinner? Is it because we're out on the deck and is there something with no matter what you're having dinner, or is it because specifically we're on the deck and sometimes we let her out in the back?
This is more of a human thing. Do you want to be interrupted when you're eating dinner?
No, but then I put my 7-year-old in the crate.
Okay, good, fair point.
If she would just sit down for more than 2 seconds. No, I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Remember, there's nothing wrong with utilizing the crate for management as you're going through this, especially puppyhood, right? And again, this is unique because you are actually getting some local help, which is going to make your life a lot easier because you are going to be working her every day.
I didn't find this guy. I was done.
Right. And now keep in mind too, especially when I'm raising puppies, my dogs, they're older now, but anytime I get a new rescue, from my own personal pet, and this is what I profess to everyone else, they have to earn everything. Everything. Nothing is free. Food, treats, affection, playtime, going out on a walk, playing in the yard, whatever it is, they have to earn those resources through performance. And that's where obedience comes in. Obedience commands, right? Sit down, come. They have to perform and earn the privilege of whatever we're offering, right? And that's just the way it goes now. And the other thing is, you have a 7-year-old girl, so she's going to be a 7-year-old girl. There's not much you could do about that either, right?
Right.
So you have a lot of let's call it enthusiasm going on in the house, right?
Well, her fear sounds like enthusiasm because of her voice, right?
It's an escalation of energy.
They hear the high-pitched voice, and my wife isn't as high-pitched, but it just sounds like everything. Yeah, it makes sense. We all do it.
Yeah. And now something I'm going to offer this. This is an individual thing. People can take it or leave it. I have pit bulls, and I mean, they love each other, and I don't know if you had boxers, so pit bulls and boxers play a lot alike.
Rottweilers, yeah,
Roddy, yeah. I mean, it's intense. It's fun, but it's
we didn't have them
intense.
as puppies, but the Mastiff, I mean, the best dog ever, Roxy. I laid on her as a pillow. I mean,
Yeah. So inside of my house, is calm.
No play.
Never. They are not allowed to play in the house. Now, they're older now, so they do certain things. They're allowed to do certain. They're laying down and they're doing their mouthing, teeth clanking thing. They might start smacking each other in the face a little. As soon as they stand up, I cut it off. No intense play in the house. I strongly recommend that you take that approach with Sydney because the house has to be calm.
Yes.
And now you can take her out in the yard. Your controlled walks in the yard are fine, but you can also let her tear ass in the yard with you as well, right? Because now there's a clear delineation between inside and outside.
But I can't because there's only one thing. It's the flying, nipping, and grabbing thing.
But it's controlled interactions. It's all about play training. You're out there with her, engaged in that escalation. Right. And then because you take her out there on your walks, you do your controlled walks. That's all well and good. But for playtime and exercise is out in the yard. Right.
Well, how do I do that? How do I have playtime?
Well, she likes tug, right?
She likes, look, she goes in the backyard. When she's fine, she's fine. That's normal. But when she's not, it zips around twice the backyard and will. It's hard to explain. It's like it just all of a sudden she's doing that, and 2 seconds later she's nipping at everybody. It's not there's, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no that in between play. She doesn't know how to play. Maybe.
Right. We have to create that in between.
Right.
We have to create that threshold for her. So, all right, you're playing, and then the switch turns, and she starts doing her Sydney thing. Based on what we talked about so far, what do you think you should do immediately?
Based on what we talked about, well, I should probably get her somehow calm by treats or something for a few minutes and then put her in the crate.
Not now, if you're out in the yard with a scheduled out time, right? Now, we don't necessarily have to put her in the crate, but we need a bridge from bad behavior to what we need from her, right? Okay. So just like inside with the crate, right? We need a bridge between her craziness and the crate. Outside, we need to start creating thresholds for play of what's acceptable to us. So she goes apeshit, high value food reward because you can't catch her, right? Because she's going to be
not.
Right. So we need to have something higher value than what she is currently experiencing, and she is food motivated, right? So we get her to us. Sit, good girl. Down, good girl. Sit, good girl. Put the leash on her. Start walking the perimeter of the yard.
Okay. Does that reward her for the chaos?
No, because we're taking her away from that, right? She's crazy because remember, she's from a distance. She's doing her thing, and if she's coming at you doing her mouthing thing, then you could just walk away.
She waits for me to get closer, and as soon as I do, like a gazelle, she's gone. She'll do a lap, whatever. If you get it, if you don't get it, does all that stuff.
Perfect. That is so good that she does that because some dogs that are in these states of mind, as soon as you get closer, they actually advance. Okay, so this is perfect. You are in a great position because
she's playing.
Yeah, when that happens. Okay, so now you have your own. This bridge is occurring by her, not you, right? So now you step. She takes off. Walk away. Call her to you with the treat. Because now on her, she chose to go away and do her playing thing. Yep. You're separating her. You're coming back to her and put her in a sitting down. Put that leash. So you need to have some treats on you, and you need to have the leash handy.
So this is good because I've always been of the mindset because we're always talking about not rewarding them for bad behavior, whatever it is in general. So I know that my wrestling matches with her, which I'm done, I'm retired. I know that I could have stopped it with one of those chew bones with some meat on it that I have frozen, right? I know because that's above and beyond. I know I could have done it with a little pieces of a hot dog. I know, but I didn't because I thought that was just going to be like she's going to go in her head off and run around again tomorrow and get more hot dogs.
And you're right. That's the risk with that type of approach. That's why you need that bridge between the two, right?
Yeah.
And even
How do you
even if
remove?
it's, go ahead.
No, you go.
Even if you have to correct her, right?
Yeah.
If you have to correct her for something, that's fine, because she's acting like a friggin' lunatic. You correct her and then go on to something else, right? Because the correction can also be a bridge, not just a little mini obedience session, like a squirt bottle. I don't know if does she respond well to a water bottle?
She does. I had one water bottle, and my wife or my daughter got it, and it was from my kid's makeup kit. I shot it. It sprayed out like a gentle mist. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So the dog was like, like this.
Yeah,
so
no, you need to stream that sucker.
Yeah, no, I need it right. I know where it needs to go.
Yeah.
But I got a clicker.
Okay.
That's working great with her.
Okay.
It's not stopping her, but I'm noticing that the clicker is the ruler, and I want it to be, when I say Sydney and click, I want it to be Sydney, her name. So I don't give her treats till she looks at me in the eye, and that's all stuff I can learn on and grow from. It's just this chaos where I'm trying to avoid the wrestling match, the fear that it's instilling in my daughter, who's, been around dogs in many ways all her short life. And this is her first puppy. So it's heart-wrenching to even consider it. Like, we'll get you a pug or something. Like, I'm trying, and my wife was like, no. Anyway, my question about the playing inside. Would you suggest, so I have the two I'm calling them bully pieces, and I could show them, I'll get them for you. I'll show you quick. Is there anything in the house? Is there just those in the house? Is there
Well, this is where recreational chews come in handy. Like you said about bones, you could do cow ears, bones, bully sticks, and this is where having chew sessions in her crate comes in handy, because again, it's more positive association with the crate, but she's also chewing, so it is helping alleviate and stimulate her mentally and physically, because the physical action of chewing, and there is some mental stimulation that goes on as well.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why you're underutilizing the crate.
And the walks don't do anything, meaning that
the walks
it helps, but they don't take the. She goes on a walk probably for a total of, by 4 o'clock, she's probably been on an hour and a half's worth of walking.
Yeah,
shit.
That's probably just warming her up.
It doesn't take the craziness out of her.
The thing with the walks, they are important, and we were going to talk about that, but they are important. Then it's important for you to take your daughter on walks with Sydney as well.
Most of the time she goes with us.
Good. Okay. Yeah. This way that relationship is there, and throughout the walks, even if you just stop periodically, make Sydney sit. Your daughter can give her some treats, because from what I remember, Sydney does take treats gently, right?
She does it well. My daughter had to learn because she was doing it with her fingers, and
she was doing the whole pull back thing. Yeah.
But no, I could tell you that on an hour walk, we stopped Sydney probably about 40 times.
Good, excellent. Yeah.
On all the walks.
Yeah. So do that, because it's gonna be a few months, even with the sessions you're going on with this local trainer. It's gonna take time, and she's with you 2 weeks.
Barely.
Okay. Yeah. So she's just
absolutely.
And again, in the foster home, she was playing inside with the other dog. So the other dog was taking a lot of the brunt of what you're experiencing.
Ruby,
yeah, Ruby, right? So that's right, yeah, Ruby. So I remember, Ruby was, and Ruby.
I grew up with Steve.
Okay.
And I just happened to see the photo on his Instagram of Sydney.
Right.
And he lives 20 minutes from me, so that's how it happened.
Yeah, and you know how Ruby had handled it when it got too much?
Yeah.
She corrected her ass.
Well, I have 2 dogs. My one neighbor has 2 dogs. One's a pit, and the other one is she's a big fat lab, I think. Riley, she's always been the one that's been beat up in a sense. So,
right.
But she is showing Sydney how to be a dog.
Yeah.
And we've gone on walks together, and I've had them in the backyard 2 or 3 times. Riley is just a wonderful dog. She's 6 years old, but she is putting Sydney in her place. Okay. So that's just part of.
Yeah, that's helpful for her. I'm
comfortable with it. That's why it's happening.
Yeah, good.
And the owner is fantastic.
As long as the other dogs correct appropriately,
she's showing teeth. She's going and then she's stopping, and
Perfect. Yeah.
Sydney goes on her stomach and on her side.
Yeah. So because we know Sydney is easily disconnected from bad behavior, in this case, dogs with authority over her, that's going to happen organically as a byproduct of working her, restricting her freedom, making her earn everything around the house, controlling play outside, continuing on your restricted walks, things along those lines, and then whatever whatever protocols or regimen the trainer puts in place for you is certainly going to help mentally.
Are you okay with, like, right now, she's like a teenager. She sleeps like until, like, for the majority of the day, which puppies tend to do. Would you be okay knowing that right now she's in the dining room upstairs and she's been passed out for an hour and a half sleeping? I could have put her in the crate, I agree. But is it okay to also permit that a little bit? Or would you say, if she's going to sleep, she's going in her crate. If she's not sleeping, she's with you in some sort of controlled situation?
Okay, so in this situation, there's a balance there to kind of find. And if it works, I would say that's okay. Okay, and we don't.
Has worked. That part has worked.
Then that's fine. Now, when she's laying down, right, if she starts waking up, does she wake up and it's on, or does she wake up and she's still kind of chill for a few minutes?
No, she's chill.
That's when you want to love on her.
Okay.
Where she doesn't have to do anything.
Right.
Because she's getting love and praise and physical affection when she's in a good state of mind. As opposed to giving her love and attention and affection and physical praise when she's a freaking lunatic.
To the point of the trainer said, no more petting. He wasn't literal, but he said, hit her on the side, like this, like in a good way, like good job. And he said it shakes the nerves out of them. And
yeah, and
the petting thing, just when they're calm, it's okay. But in general, when you're treating or anything like that, hit her on the side, say, good job, Sydney. More so than on the face and on the mouth and any of this, which was interesting to hear because I could understand when he says hit her, like this on the side, good job.
Patting. Yeah, I pat my guy too.
Yeah.
I
wanted to just make sure you guys were kind of thinking.
Yeah, I'm a big believer of, well, first of all, it's all state of mind based. Okay, I never reward. I mean, if I'm teaching a puppy obedience, puppies aren't calm because puppies aren't calm. We're teaching obedience, so I'm rewarding sit down, come. I'm rewarding physical positions that they're putting their bodies in, not necessarily states of mind. But when we have dogs like this, where they're older puppies now and they're going to approach adolescence, it's all about, and I call it my crazy calm formula. We ignore crazy, reward calm. So when she's calm, I do a lot of around the face. We want a lot of positive stuff around the face.
Push their face up a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, and even massage. I mean, massaging the face, the head, the neck, the back, right?
Every part of the body, just to get them comfortable with it.
And when they're in a relaxed state of mind or they're laying down, like that's what we're rewarding by doing that.
Okay.
Right? Forget about obedience, sit down, come stay, right? Think state of mind, right? Wow, this is the kind of dog I want. This is the state of mind I'm rewarding.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, for sure. And I don't do anything negative around the face, but I also don't shy away from giving praise around the face because we want positive association with hands approaching the face. But again, what state of mind is she in? If she's
He wasn't being hardcore. I think he was more about like on a walk or when you're training or you're doing that kind of stuff, more about like that type of petting and patting. Whereas, like you said, when she's coming out and she's half awake, you can mush her face up a little bit, or even when she's laying next to you. Yeah.
And then, I'm a pit guy. So like, I mean, when people see me patting my dogs, like that might be hitting to some people, and my dogs are just like, oh, this is great. But yeah, all those that's physical praise,
Okay.
Because we have to use treats, but we also don't want to rely on treats either. That's probably why he's getting you there already. When
He's getting it with my daughter. When my daughter's affection is always the treating.
Yeah.
And she carries the bag around her, and I said, she's just looking at you as a meal ticket right now.
Yeah,
which is okay for her. She'll get there, but like I'm trying to tell her, you got to do the discipline as well. So I gave her the clicker, and I said, you don't have to feed her every time. You could praise her in a way without giving her food. Yeah. So I've been mixing it up a little bit. I know. So the trainer. First thing we did was we got rid of the harness. I got a training leash, the thinner ones, the longer one, a little bit longer. He had said it just feels lighter for them, so it doesn't feel as weighed down. And I got the choke pull thing, not the just the one. It's a long string with the 2 hoops on the end.
Yeah.
You know, is that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like $8 on Amazon or whatever.
Yeah, a slip lead.
Slip lead. So he said that that's easier to do a little bit of training with than it is these collars and all the other stuff. I did not put the slip on her yet because I did not get it yet. Amazon, the drone didn't arrive as quickly as I thought it would. And PetSmart doesn't carry those products. But I did get a thin training leash, which I've had now for about 4 days. So it goes straight to her collar. There's less of this without the harness when we're walking, but she's still doing it a lot. Do you suggest the slip? Is that something that
How old is she? What is she, 6 months now?
No, 5 months.
5 months? This is usually what I would use to recommend.
I saw that.
What's that?
I saw that at a local pet store.
Yeah, this is
you can add the pieces, right, to
it?
it?
Yeah, it's a Star Mark collar. So it's like a prong, but it's plastic. Okay. It's flat on the outside, so it's not invasive looking. And, you know, with Sydney at 5 months old, and based on what I know from her, you could probably introduce this to her. Okay. I would say, you know, because I wouldn't put a metal prong on her right away because she's young, but
Personally, I just wouldn't, period.
Yeah.
So I'm not in that
but
route. But
this might be an option for you, but I can tell you right now, if she's zigzagging, that's a handler issue, not a tool issue, because you're allowing her to zigzag. Now, the caveat to that is if she's on a harness, she's automatically 2 feet in front of you because it's a harness.
Yes.
Right? So with a collar, you can get her back closer to you just by...
I do. It is a strain on my arms, but
yes.
So I have the leash here on this. I have the other part of the leash in my hand on this side, and I'm trying to keep her at least straight would be great.
Yeah.
And she does do it, but I'm noticing that I have to keep saying her name and clicking so she's looking up at me. Yeah. But realistically, I can't walk for 45 minutes doing that.
Yeah. I mean, this is
a puppy, so I get
this is the leash I use. 5/8 inch, 6 foot, and single nylon.
Okay.
I use this on every dog.
Okay.
Whether it's a Boston Terrier or a Great Dane, this is my leash of choice.
Okay.
So instead of using 2 hands, because it is hard on the arms,
yes,
you could just.
That's what I do. Okay.
Just roll it up and just give her 12 inches, and walk. And now, if she has to pee or poop, you can let the leash out. It's still around
right in front of my feet every time. And I swear to God, how many times
So now she's on a collar or harness, pulling like a mother.
Yep.
You should consider this.
Okay.
Okay. If you use it right, it's just a walking collar. You're not using it for anything else. You're not giving her harsh corrections. It's going to give you some immediate relief. You know, and it's going to help control her a little bit. But again, you have a local guy you're working with, so you can kind of see where he takes you with leash walking before you go to a tool. But if you're using,
I'll show you the piece that I got, just so you tell me if I got it.
Yeah.
If I share my screen?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm disabled, so you got.
Oh shit! Hold on.
You know what?
Yeah, I know. Let me. Advanced sharing, all participants. Okay, go for it.
Okay, so I got. Okay, so I got this one here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that? I mean, and I got the 14 inch because she's a little bit thin.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, this is going to be more invasive than the collar I just showed you.
Okay, that one I saw it right around the corner at the store. So
you're gonna choke her, and it's not going to be effective.
This is the collar I have, and then I have a thinner leash now.
Yeah.
But all right, so that one that you have, that's the one that you can add the links to the collar. Is that the one?
Yeah, you're gonna likely need to remove links, actually.
Right. Yeah. I mean, her neck is
Yeah, because she's got that skinny hound neck.
Yeah.
And I could tell you, if you get it, I mean, I can coach you real quick on how to use it. I mean, I actually have a video. I did a video consult like this with this one girl. She had a pit, and I just gave her a quick little demo. But because you're going to be doing the same exact technique that you're using with the choke collar, with this, with half the effort.
So this is it rubber basically? It's
plastic.
Plastic, okay. And you kept it on your dog's up to now, or just during puppy early stages?
Well, all right. So I'm going to be a realist here.
Yeah.
Any training tools should be temporary. Okay.
Yeah.
Almost everyone relies on them for walks, and they never actually transition to the. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like my guys don't. I mean, I'll if I need if I need to put this on one of my dogs when I train them, I will. But if they don't use it the rest of their lives.
Does it give you more control, or does it stop them pretty quick like that? Like, is it
Both.
more
If you just put it on her and didn't train her, she's going to pull less. The purpose is, though, is to train her a command. Easy.
What does it do? Does it constrict?
Yeah. So how this works is it wraps evenly around the neck, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like a martingale. See, let me see this. See how this pulls?
Oh, yeah.
Right? It pulls like a martingale.
Yep.
Right? So it wraps evenly around the neck, and as opposed to a choke chain, a choke rope, which what you're using, right?
Yep.
Choke ropes are single point of contact all along the trachea. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, he showed me how he had it. What he held it here, so it held it higher on her neck.
They always slide.
But when he was trying to when he grabbed her, he held it high on her neck.
Yeah.
When he was sitting in front of him, and he just held it there, and he's like, she'll figure out how to stop having that happen.
Right. She'll slow down.
Is that a good technique?
Yeah, it is, and that's how this works. But remember, now you have multiple points of contact throughout the neck with no choking.
Because it's okay.
Right?
Right, yeah.
And, you know, and the good thing, I mean, and, you know.
Do they make that for kids?
Yeah. They do have a small one you can wrap around your daughter if you want, but
You're recording this.
I don't
know anything.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Let me ask, is there anything else you wanted to cover? The reason is I wanted to know if my daughter could come on for a couple minutes and because you could just like give her a few tips or something like that. Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to cover that she didn't need to hear? And I don't mean to rush you. We can wait. It's fine.
No. Let me just 4 to 8 Zoomies. Okay, so underutilizing the crate we talked about, getting soft fabric type of tug toys to coax her away from other stuff around the house, which we're not playing in the house anymore. 4 to 8 Zoomies, proactively try to nip that in the bud. If not, always think bridge. Bad behavior, bridge, crate. Bad behavior, bridge, leash in the yard. Right, and you'll get a copy of this recording, so you don't have to worry about remembering everything.
So should I leave should I have a short leash on her at all times?
I don't like to have leashes dangling on them, but if you want, you can.
When I say dangling, I mean like this long, like.
Oh, like yeah, I mean
like
you could.
But you don't think it's necessary? Okay.
I think if you have a leash on you when you're in the yard doing those controlled play sessions, that would be enough.
Is that black collar the collar that stays on her at all times, or only on the leash for the walk?
You mean the Star Mark collar I showed you?
Yeah.
That should never be on her unsupervised. It should only be for training or walking. In fact, I mean, I don't train dogs with it. I mean, I use it. I usually recommend it to people as a walking aid.
Okay.
Because that's where most people have the most difficulty.
I could have a walking leash where that's already attached to the leash, so we know that, or something, whatever it is. But
right. But when you're in the yard with her, you could put it on her because that's when you're going to experience, in all likelihood, her peak stimulation.
Well, that's a wrap. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope you guys are finding these virtual dog training consults helpful for you. And again, if there's any content that you guys want me to upload or cover, drop a comment below, hit me up on social media. All that information is down in the description as well. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great day.